Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Coffee again. Hopefully, everyone is doing great here at the Smith family. All's well, thankfully. And what's going on? Well, I measured my little mechanic yesterday, see if he'd be available for Sunday, this coming Sunday, to come and do routine maintenance, oil change, and so forth. Check my air filters. I've got extra on hand if necessary. Check my front end out and replace the stabilizers. I've got those on hand. I've already got them. And just a routine checkout where I can't crawl around on the ground and look at this stuff, unfortunately. God, I miss doing it, guys. It's unreal. I see all this going on, and I used to do it. And sad to say that yeah, if I got down on the ground, I don't know how I get back up. I'd have to get a tow truck. But that's life, you know. They can't let it get you down. There's always ways around it. And in my case, I found someone with willing to learn and with younger hands and better eyes, and with a mind that's willing to be open enough to understand the mechanics. He's become, in my book, very qualified. He's doing great, and I see his post, and looks like he's staying fairly busy. And I'm glad. I'm happy. Speaking of that, my neighbor out back, he's staying busy with his little motorcycle repair jobs, and it's nice to see passing your knowledge along, someone else reaping the benefits and being able to support a family. It's really touching. You know, it's a good feeling. Yeah. Of course, that's a way you can get someone to support themselves, but and you're passing a gift along that's going to last a lifetime. Now, my neighbor out back, he's learned that not to be focused on just one trade, to be diverse. He's not a professional carpenter, but he can get the job done. Because I use him when my other carpenter's not available, which is pretty common because he's good at what he does and he stays busy. So when I need work in that area, he pulls up the slack on that too. And he's learned to weld, which is a plus. It's the little things, giving people an opportunity, especially the reason I focus on that is because he didn't get the opportunity to have an education. And even though he's capable of doing a lot, he depends on his wife when it comes to reading and writing. He's very limited. And you would think that'd be sad, but the man, it's not. He's very highly intelligent. He just didn't have the opportunity. Speaking of that, I hate to change the subject, but that made me think, you know, my generation of work, there was few jobs that actually open a door to where you have a retirement, a pension, as they would say it. You know, jobs with benefits. You know, and then you have things happen in life that takes those what few are available, takes that opportunity away. The reason I'm talking about this because I've seen people here that come to the Philippines with a similar income as mine and fail. That's easy to do, and then they get ridiculed for not being prepared, for not having a second pension and additional income. You know, they should have stayed home. Well, you know what? I don't view it that way. Uh, Even when I left, it was getting to a point that when you're on a single pension or Social Security in my case, you know where you couldn't afford to live. Even if you owned your own home, it was you couldn't take care of the maintenance and other things and the insurances and transportation and all that. You couldn't take care of that on just Social Security. You know, like in my case, and I'm not the only person out there. That there's life events that just took away a job opportunity that would allow you to have a good retirement. In my case, or I had a mining accident, that eliminated anybody want to hire me uh, with a decent health plan, pre-existing. Yeah. Once they, especially most jobs when that require that, require a good physical. I didn't pass the physicals, and plus, my eyesight's always been failing. That didn't help the case any. And then, uh, then I had a child. Well, actually, I had two kids, but one of them developed cancer. You think they didn't close a lot of doors? Yeah. There's a lot of people in my similar category to me. They didn't, they couldn't accumulate a second retirement. And it really upsets me when the other people that was successful, God, I hate when I can't speak, and they down other people because they didn't get that opportunity. No, I didn't get didn't have the funds to further my education. I was lucky to get through high school. And there were a lot of kids in that category that didn't have the opportunity to go on and take to enhance their education or go to college and so forth because the funds just wasn't there. And the ones that did ended up in debt, and it took them forever to work their way out of it. Again, with someone that doesn't get the opportunities, you shouldn't down them. Of course, some of them, uh, it's their own fault that they wasn't wise enough to manage what they have. I was fortunate enough that I would conserve and try to live, on what I had. not beyond what I am. Then I finally end up, as you well know, with a young lady that really stood behind me and helped me conserve and actually do, well, make the best of what I had. You know, there always will be, as long as humans are alive, people that doesn't get the opportunities, that doesn't get to step on up the ladder. They get a third of the way up, or a quarter of the way up, or even a halfway up, and they just can't continue. They end up with some problem that just won't let them reach that next level. And that happens throughout life, throughout the history of the human race. It's been cold when you want to cut somebody for something that they have no control of. So, here, I try to open doors. As I was saying earlier, open the door for, I mentioned the two people. They didn't have the opportunities, but I opened doors, and they was willing to take on knowledge to make their lives better. So, even though I didn't get those opportunities in life, I can pass along opportunities for someone else. So, sometimes life is not nice. I've seen people rise through life, and it just blows my mind how they do it when they have no common sense. I know a person, I know him well, grew up with him. I don't understand how he got where he did. He never done any physical work. He didn't get a superior education. It's just like things just fell in his hands. Unreal. Uh, I'll give you an example. He invited me out for lunch one day. And this is during the time, I think it was mid 80s, late 80s, somewhere there. That's when these gambling machines were common about anywhere you went. And one-armed bandits, you might call them. And he walks in, and they're in the foyer. There's those machines. He looked at me and reached in his pocket. And he says, "Watch this." He pulls a quarter out, drops it in the machine, pulls the handle. He wins $175. He collects his money and says, "I guess we eat free today, and I get to make a profit." And that's not the first time I've seen that happen with him. It's just like magic. I could drop 1,000 quarters in that machine and not get a return. And that's the reason I never was a gambler, because I know my luck. Anyway, guys, you've heard my rants. You heard me go on about things. And whatever you do in life, if you're out and about, smile. You might make someone feel better. Live long and prosper.